it took me so long to read. Like I said last night, I had one of my friends, she moved out to Cali, which is 3 hours behind us, and called and talked to her for about 3 hours about everything that's just been going on. And then just getting stuff in order today. So I was able, actually, because what I like to do is I do the cards, and then I like to go card by card and take notes and look for the bigger picture. And so what I'm seeing is I feel like there's a relationship, a long-term relationship that you've been in, and things aren't really going as smoothly right now as what they used to. And the foundation that you guys had was a real pure and loving relationship, and some things have started to change, and I feel like maybe there was not necessarily an affair, and not necessarily cheating in the terms of, physically cheating. There could have been some dishonesty on his part, but you know about this, and you're kind of having a hard time communicating about it, and just kind of accepting, I guess, and accepting just kind of everything. So I'm going to go over card by card what I got, and fix this. And then if you have any more questions, feel free to message me, it's fine. So how I did it was I did the Celtic cross spread, and each card stood for a different part. So I'm going to let you know what that card stood for and what that card represents. And then there's 10 cards, and I'll go through all those, and then when I'm done with that, I'll throw it all together and make the big picture, which kind of already said. So you're represented by the King of Cups, which the King of Cups this can indicate a male that's in your life. It would be a male with lighter hair, on the light end of the spectrum, not like dark hair. But it's a very kind and loving man, and it's very balanced. He's very balanced. You are very balanced he's the kind and loving man. You are balanced in your male and feminine energy, and you hold all the qualities of both male and female, of the energy, and kindness and compassion. You are a very compassionate person. You are a very kind-hearted person, which could make sense to why you're kind of having a hard time maybe seeing this. There's an element of pure and true love in your life, no matter your situation. You need to nurture yourself and allow other people to nurture you. I also feel that there's a lot of anxiety, there's fear, and it's troubling you. I feel as if something was going on behind your back about this person, your lover. I'm going to assume that it's a guy, seeing as how he's represented by the King of Cups, or he could be represented by the King of Cups. But I feel like he did something behind your back and it hurt you. So for right now, the situation that's crossing you and holding you back is you feel as if you're carrying a burden. And that burden you might be carrying is what he may have done, and your willingness to either accept it and slide it under the rug, or to communicate and discuss it, get your feelings out, express yourself, and you're having a hard time with that because you're in a hard part of your relationship right now. And this may totally even mean that your beloved, your partner, they're going through a hard time in their life, but it doesn't have anything to do with the actual relationship. It could be, you know, maybe he lost his job. Let's see, what do we have here? It was the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands shows trying to hold up something that's just going to fall over. It doesn't have anything to do with the relationship, but he still needs your support. And more than likely, there is something in your relationship that needs to be examined, looked at, and considered. You'll not gain by pretending that there are no problems. So that's just accepting. Number 3 stands for what crowns you. And these are the things, this could be, the future is not set in stone, ever. And we have the ability to obviously change, free will. So if everything was to stay right how it is right now and nothing changed, no actions taken, but the road that's on right now, if everything was just to cruise control to there, this could be a possible outcome to the situation. And this is also shows what's heavy on your mind crowns you, right? So you're not being treated the way that you think you should, and you're not. If you're not being treated the way that you think that you should, then your feelings matter. They're valid, and you need to not necessarily accept it. You need to listen to your intuition and accept that. And this may mean that it's time to stop making excuses. Remember that there's not only one person who we can have a deep soul connection with. There's many fish in the sea. There is, there's many soulmates that are out there for us. It's just finding the one that's going to, because we go through lessons in life, and some people are there just to help us learn those certain lessons about ourselves. Sorry about the dogs. So there's not only just one person for you, and then that's what you're having a hard time holding on to is, the security of that relationship. This relationship, and I can wholeheartedly relate, like this relationship, it's something that you've been in for a while and and the whole thing of like change is scary. It's really scary, but sometimes it's for the better. And also you shouldn't have to do backflips in order and jump through hoops in order for somebody to love you and appreciate you. They should just do it because of who you are, not because who they want you to be. You don't have to do that. You are perfect just the way you are, and there is somebody out there who is going to see that. What did I write here? Oh, and letting go. Letting go of people, ideas. That was my New Year's resolution, just letting go. Letting go of ideas that's not going to serve you anymore. Letting go of ideas of this is how the relationship's supposed to be. Even letting go of people. Might have to let go of people who aren't treating you the way that you deserve to be treated, and they're not seeing that. But are you fully communicating with them and letting them know that, hey, you got to open yourself up and be vulnerable. Hey, this is how I feel. When you do this is how I feel. Things like that. And when love is right, absolutely nothing has to be forced. Everything falls into place. So you got to broaden your horizons a little bit and just kind of step outside of your box. So the fourth card that I drew for you, which represents, 3, 4. This represents what's beneath you. And beneath you is this is the foundation. This was the lying foundation that existed in order for you to get to the situation that you're in. So for that was the strength card. And the strength card is a lot of inner strength. And you're going to have to pull a lot of that inner strength, and you have it. It's there. But you're going to have to pull a lot of that inner strength in order to reach the things that you are wanting. I wrote down that, this was a strong relationship and things going very well. It was constantly like a mind over matter thing. And I wrote down, because those who matter don't mind, and those who mind don't matter. It's very important that also it's always important to remember, I tell everybody this, but to meditate. And if you don't know how to meditate, start with guided meditations. They do help, and it's a lot easier than it sounds. I have terrible ADHD, and I'm like 1,000 thoughts per second go through my head, and if I can do it, literally, I swear anybody can. Excuse me. But you need to spend some alone time, and, even if it's a thing, if you have 19 kids and a husband and dogs and all this stuff, you still, there we go, you still need to look for and find the time to just have that you time. Even if it's taking a bath or something by yourself at night after kids have gone to bed, which never seems to ever end. But you just need that alone time, and you need that one-on-one time with yourself, because you've kind of lost a little bit of that touch within, and my hair's going haywire. You've lost that connection that you've had with yourself in the inward, and you need to pull from your inner strengths for that. I said, so don't be stuck on past relationships or how things used to be. We need to focus on where things are right now, and if we keep looking at the past, we're never going to see what's in front of us in the future. So if you focus on the now, you're going to be open for any of those occurrences to happen. And right now, looking on the past and just dwelling on how, things used to be so good, and it used to be such strong, and, it used to be all of this, and now it's not. It's not feeling that way. That's hard. That's very hard. But you gotta let that go, and you gotta focus on yourself, and you've got to focus on the now, and you've got to focus on where you're going, not where you've been. You need to refocus the future. So just keep that part in mind. Sorry, message. Okay. So number 5 is past. And these are things recent events that have happened in the past, recent past. And for that was the Lover's card. And the Lover's card is very self-explanatory. And especially in a love reading, it's like that pure love, in like all capital letters, love. And it brings you to the center of the center stage of your life. And this was either a powerful new love or a powerful rebonding of an old relationship. So, and like I feel like this might have been like a rebonding of an old relationship. Because it came up again, exes are exes for a reason. A little further down, I get ahead of myself. But, still at the same time, you were very happy, and people said you were like glowing, you were very happy. And, but you might be, hesitant to talk. You might have been hesitant to talk about what it was that you want and what you need. And this could very well have been a time that you needed that something happened, you needed to stop, take a break, and you should have, and I'm not saying you should have, but it would have been the time to communicate. And communication is really hard because we have to allow ourselves to be vulnerable. And even if you are, the other party has to be as well. And that's why I say, you shouldn't have to jump through, you won't have to jump through hoops and do backflips in order to make this person happy. They will accept you for who it is, for who you are, and accept the situation for what it is. Just like, whoop. So the number six card is represented by the Nine of Cups, which in the in the sixth place of the card is representing your near future. Well, the Nine of Cups, it represents, it's what they consider the wish card. So what you might have been thinking about, what you might have been wanting, what you might have been wishing that you could have, it could very well be yours. Like, things are lining up, you can have that. What you're dreaming and what you're hoping for would likely be yours. Good things are to come. And again, I wrote down, you don't have to do backflips for somebody to love you. So, and I'll come back to this later because that wasn't in another card. But, just really accepting yourself for, more or less, for the queen that you are, and realizing your self-worth, and realizing that you don't need anybody to be happy, because the happiness comes from within. It doesn't come from relying on somebody else to give you that happiness. So it could be yours, but you need to focus on you and what it is you want and what it is that you really need, realistically. And you work towards it, it can very well be yours. So the number 7 card is the King of Pentacles, and this shows your attitude right now. This shows you and your attitude and how you kind of feel about all of this. And the King of Pentacles is like, it shows somebody sweeping you off your feet. It's a very, let's see, I sweeping you off your feet, and yes, try to put your best foot forward, but you don't need to pretend to be someone that you're not. That's where I was going. Because they will love you exactly for who you are. You don't have to pretend to be anybody. Because they like who you really are. But you got to be honest about everything, and things should start to fall into place. And that's that communication, being honest with yourself, being honest with your partner. And it might be I think it's your partner needs to be honest with you more too. And this very well could mean that, I don't know if you can hear my kids upstairs, they're crazy. But this very well could mean that you're moving into a more comfortable place. And this could be literal, but it's more of like metaphorical, I believe. And things are going to start kind of like lining up for you to be able to, maybe communication's hard for you. I feel like communication is hard. And things are going to start lining up for you to where it's going to be a lot easier for you to be able to do that. But if you're dissatisfied in your relationship, you're going to have to say so that things can change. Because don't expect your lover to read your mind. So if there's something that has been bothering you, speak up. Do it in a very loving, respectful manner, but speak up and be like, hey, this has been on my mind, and this is, kind of holding me back from where I think this is holding us back from where we could be. And I think the more talking, communication popped up so much in here. I think more communication and things, you might be able to rekindle what was there. Let's see. And this was represented, things are crashing down right now. This is a clarifier, I pulled the Tower card. And things are crashing down. And things might be ending, or they have came to a crossroads where, either going to end this or not, not end this. But it's kind of like you're stuck in the middle there, and you're like, well, what do I even do what am I even supposed to do? Like, what's the problem here? You must communicate and don't make assumptions. There's a saying about making assumptions. I'm sure you've heard it. But you have to communicate. So number 8 card. This was that was shown by that was signified by death. Now, number 8's placement has to do with outside, external influence, environmental influences. So these might be other people influencing you. This may be situations influencing you. These are an influence that comes from externally, outside. So it says if you're clinging to a relationship you're unhappy in because you don't want to let go of the familiar, or because you hate to be alone, you're doing neither yourself or your partner any good by doing so. Have a frank and honest conversation about problems you're having in the relationship, and if they can't or they won't make a change, maybe it's time to let go. Not all relationships are fixable, but you should still try. Changes are hard, but for some people it's like really difficult. So if you have already tried to discuss things and you guys have tried to fix things, these issues in hand, and have not been successful, moving on is probably going to be your best option. Just remember that if you're unhappy now, how do you think you're going to feel in 5 years? How do you think you're going to feel in 10 years? If nothing has changed despite all of what you have communicated, do you think anything's going to change down the road? And change is scary, but staying at any cost is even scarier. If you can be brave and take a chance, leaving the security of this relationship, you will find one that works much better. Happiness is out there, but you have to go out and find it. So, yeah, that, when I also wrote here, think before you speak and listen hard to your partner. Misunderstandings are easy right now. So that may be, I think that's really honestly very self-explanatory. And if you have more questions about that, ask and we can go deeper into it. But that's the influence. That's the influence is you maybe you know it and you kind of have started accepting it, but you haven't fully accepted it because it is like changing from like what you've been familiar with is so scary. Like, it's so frightening, but you have to take that leap of faith and think about yourself. I don't know if you have children, but think about them too, obviously. Excuse me. I gotta get a drink real quick. So, yeah, that was the end for that one. So number 9, I have represented the 6 of Swords, and I'll send you a picture of all of these. But it's represented by the 6 of Swords, and this shows a need for change in scenery. And even if it's grabbing your kids or your best friend or something and going to the park for a picnic, I feel like you just need to get out, and you just need to get out, and you need to get out of your head, and you need to just kind of maybe refocus on there's so much beauty out there, and you are a part of it. And you just have to realize, and the change of scenery is going to help you realize that not necessarily the grass is greener on the other side, but there are better things. There could be better things. If that's something that you're wanting to do, if you're wanting to leave and you're wanting to get out, there are going to be better things out there for you. And this points to change, but this is a change inwardly. So you're growing, and there's a slight reduction in stress and strain. So I think you're starting to come to terms with, and you're growing, and you're in a metamorphosis. And again, this came up again. It says you must be willing to talk and really listen to your beloved, your partner. Remember, your lover does not complete you. You complete yourself. Yeah. So, number 10 is that represents the outcome of this whole situation. And again, nothing is set in stone. Everybody has free will, and they have the ability to change anything, to change their future path that they are on. But this would be the outcome. Does everything stay? I wrote down that if, you're I feel like you're in a long-term relationship. I just do. If you're in a long-term relationship, you may be feeling a little stuck and a little stagnant, which that would make sense. That would make a lot of sense. Sorry. So if you try being honest with yourself and with each other, you are more likely to find it rising to new and better heights. And that goes back to the communication. If you guys are able to talk, and it's not just you, because relationship takes two people. So if they're not willing to do it, then that's your answer. Because you matter. Your happiness matters. And if they're not willing to help you, help your relationship, then you do need to leave. You do need to leave. But if you guys are able to throw everything out on the table, no lies, completely honest, and throw everything out on the table and respectfully go through it and talk about things, it's going to be really, really good. But both parties have to be willing, and I don't know if he will be willing. Or he hasn't been willing maybe in the past. You know what's going to be right for you, and you have to do what you feel. You have to do what you need to follow your intuition about this, and trust yourself. Really trust yourself. Let's see. And I also wrote a possible past romance rekindled. It's possible to spend your time and energy and attention. Wait, it's important. Can't read my own chicken scratch. It's not too bad. It's important to spend your time, energy, and attention on each other, no matter how busy you are. So making time for each other. And if you're not feeling that he's treating you the way that you deserve to be treated, maybe he's not giving you his time. He's not providing and opening up his energy for you to be a part of. So, I'm going to leave it at that. And if you have any questions, if you want to go over some more stuff, kind of pick through some of this, I feel free to private message me. Yeah, and we can talk about it, and we can go from there. So I hope that this did resonate with you some. I feel that I got a pretty good idea of it. And also I pulled a couple oracle cards for you as well, which I will send in the picture. When I pulled the cards, I took a picture of them then, and I'm downstairs. I don't remember what it was. So we can go over those and talk about those too if you want. So just feel free to message me, and talk to you in a little bit.